This is insane! We're all going to die!
You're going to die first, you coward!
Oh!
We're already dead!
Get them!
Let's get them!
Iratus, Lord of the Dead.
Is a roguelike turn-based strategy fantasy RPG.
Roguelike because you control minions that you upgrade and try to get them stronger, but when they die, it is permanent, and the game is extremely difficult, so it is expected that you're going to have to try a few times before you make any real progress.
But don't worry, there are 4 difficulties for you. The first one you have to start for at least 10 minutes. It works as a tutorial. After that, you can either continue with the lowest difficulty or change to other 2 more difficult. This game is, let's face it, a rip-off or total clone of Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah.
The difference is that you play on the other side. You play as a necromancer, so as a bad guy, and you don't hire troops, you create them because you are the evil necromancer. But for people who never played Darkest Dungeon,
the gameplay is 4 versus 4 characters. You create troops, you always have 4 of them on the map, and they're facing usually 4 enemy troops. In this case, they're the good guys, they're the living, you are playing the undead, and you are trying to make your way to the top of this cavernous mine that is really big. Really big. Like the tunnels just keep going up and up and up.
the map is big. It is visible right from the start, so you can see it all. But there's actually 5 levels, so 5 maps.
Wait, what you see from the beginning? There's 5 of those.
Yeah, 5 of those.
Holy fish sticks. That's a really big map. So there is a lot of gameplay here. The core of it is in the combat, usually 4v4, sometimes in a boss fight. But an important mechanic is also that you need to upgrade your troops. They keep getting stronger and stronger. There are like instant upgrade items. You can find artifacts that stay with them until they die. And the important thing is that their life doesn't replenish. It depends on the difficulty level. But for the most part, if they get injured, that's going to stay with them until they die. The coolest thing about this game, being that you play a necromancer, is that you use the dead body parts of your fallen enemies to create new creatures like zombies and dark knights and golems and banshees.
And since you're a necromancer, you have also mana, so you can use even spells that will save your life.
Knowing when to use the spells is a really important factor, and that's the RPG part of the game where you're actually playing the role of this necromancer who's trying to get out and wreak havoc on the world, and you as the necromancer can actually have an impact on the battle. You're not just the top-down commander.
And you're truly trying to create the army that goes well together with the melee and archers, so they cooperate well against the other army that is the good guys this time.
So creating your army requires a bit of strategy, what kind of upgrades you use, but then also how you position your troops in the combat has a lot of strategy also, because each of the units has 6 actions they can take, but depending on which position they have in the 4 spots. So you need to also think about moving them around at the right time to be able to do the right attack.
And this time, there's a fear factor only for your enemies. In the Darkest Dungeon, you were always afraid. You had the fear factor when it went low. You went crazy. This time, this goes, you are the one that is like screaming fear at the others. So that's pretty cool.
That is.
But the question is, should you play it?
But first, you should know that this game is free to claim from the Epic Game Store for 1 week only. Claim it and keep it forever. You don't have to install it yet. And that's what we do on this channel. We review every free game from the Epic Game Store so that you know what's worth your time and so you never have to be bored again.
So, I'll go first and I'll go step by step. For people who never played Darkest Dungeon, it's better to play Darkest Dungeon first. When you played both, then you can move to Iratus. So I say actually yes to this game because it's a clone, it's a ripoff, but it is a good one. It's not as good as Darkest Dungeon, but if you never play Darkest Dungeon and you don't want to spend money, now it's your perfect chance because it's free from Epic, so it's okay to jump on it first and then you can actually find out if you would like to play Darkest Dungeon. That was actually free well on Epic. So if you're not subscribed, you should consider it to never miss these games.
Yeah. So I didn't, as you may have noticed, I didn't play Darkest Dungeon. And in general, turn-based tactical games are not really my thing. I find they get a little bit old pretty quickly. But I think a big factor in this was the ability to create creatures, to decide like what type of creature I wanted to create and then upgrade it. That I felt like it was almost a little undead family that I was sending into battle, and that I found to be quite engaging. The strategy also is quite interesting, and once you get into a higher difficulty level, the stress of trying to get through each battle is quite interesting. So I found myself enjoying my time a lot with this game. I would like to play quite a bit more. So in fact, I'm going to give this a yes.
Okay. I would only add that there's a difference between Darkest Dungeon There were battles, and then there's a part where you actually explore the ruins and catacombs. This time it's only about battles, because from the map it's very simple. There are some between buffs and chests you can open, but it's very limited. So it's really all to the battles, but it will still keep you occupied for tens of hours, and there's a quite few DLCs as well you might check out.
So we hope this was useful. Let us know down in the comments if you're going to play Iratus, Lord of the Dead, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any more free games.
Hope to see you next time.
Bye.